Welcome to the Cannabis Regulation Commission meeting. Today is Thursday, July 16th, 2026, and the time is 2:04 p.m. And we are in Council Chambers, 200 North Spring Street, room 340, Los Angeles, California. I am President Iris Mason, and I'll be chairing this meeting. The following commissioners are present: Commissioners McGovern, Bierman, and Nash. I'm going to go over some housekeeping items before we get started. This meeting is being recorded, therefore we ask that when addressing the commission, you please speak close to the microphone and only one person at a time. Please state your name each time you speak. That also applies to commissioners. This meeting is being live streamed. Individuals who wish to watch and listen to this meeting may do so by visiting cannabis.lacity.gov. We will be following the agenda order for the most part. Agendas are located on the table by the entrance door along with speaker cards. Individuals who wish to address this commission must fill out a speaker's card and specify which item or items you are going to speak on. Individuals can provide public comment or comments about a specific item. Please fill out a speaker card and turn it into Irene or Josie. When I call your name, please come up to the podium and clearly state your name. We will consider general public comment and single or multiple agenda items together. Therefore, speakers will have 1 minute for general public comment and 1 minute per item, with a maximum of 2 minutes for multiple items. In total, an individual speaker shall be limited to 3 minutes of public comment per meeting. We ask that speakers state whether they are providing general public comment and or which other item or items they are speaking on before they begin to comment so that staff can appropriately time them. If the speaker does not specify which items they are speaking on, 1 minute will be provided. Representatives from neighborhood councils who have filed a resolution or community impact statement with the city clerk which relates to any agenda item will be given time to speak during the item itself. Please provide a copy of the filed statement or resolution with the Commission Executive Assistant. Any neighborhood council representative speaking on behalf of their neighborhood council must provide a letter on their letterhead stating the neighborhood council's position on the matter. Absent any neighborhood council documentation, comments may still be provided during public comment. PowerPoint presentations presented to the Commission today will be posted online and made available to the public via DCR's website within 2 business days. Please turn off your cell phones or put them on vibrate so as not to disturb the proceedings. Please be respectful. Disruptions will not be tolerated. I am designating authority to issue warnings for public disruptions, to the city attorney in order to preserve decorum and help maintain order in the meeting. If you disrupt the meeting, you will receive 2 warnings. If you continue the disruptive behavior, you will be asked to leave the meeting. We are on to item 1, which is the public comment period. It is now open for general public comment and single or multiple agenda items. Speakers can address the Commission on non-agenda related items that are within the jurisdiction of the Commission or provide public comment for items on today's agenda. Are there any speaker cards?
No, we did not receive any speaker cards.
Thank you. Then at this time, I will close both the general public comment and single or multiple agenda item comment periods. On to item 2, elected office, neighborhood council, and other public entity presentations. And this is a reminder that any representatives of neighborhood councils who have filed a resolution or a community impact statement with the city clerk which relates to any item on the agenda will be given time to speak during the agenda item itself. Please provide a copy of the filed statement or resolution to the Commission Executive Assistant. Any neighborhood council representative speaking on behalf of their neighborhood council must provide a letter on the letterhead stating the neighborhood council's position on the matter. Absent any neighborhood council documentation, comments may still be provided during the public comment period. We are on to item 3, commission business. Typically, this is the month that we do elect officers for the commission, and so said election will take place today. Is there a motion for commission vice president? This is President Mason. I will nominate Commissioner Nash for commission vice president. Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Bierman. I was second.
Thank you. Mr. Vizo, please call the roll.
President Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman,
Aye.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
Vice President Nash.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Is there a motion for commission president?
This Vice President Nash, I propose President Mason.
Thank you. Is there a second?
This is Commissioner Bierman. I was second.
Thank you. Mr. Vizo, please call the roll.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman,
Aye.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
President Mason.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Commissioners, you should have an advanced calendar in front of you with our future meeting dates. Please take a look and advise if there are any planned absences from any of the commissioners.
This is Vice President Nash. I am going to be absent on August 20th and also on October 1st.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner Bierman, and I also will be absent on October 1st.
Thank you. Moving on to the approval of minutes. At this time, I'll give Commissioner Bierman the opportunity to recuse himself, as he was absent and did not have an opportunity to review the minutes. We were sent the minutes of June 4th, 2026 for review. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Commissioner McGovern. I move that we approve the minutes of June 4th, 2026.
Thank you.
This is Vice President Nash. I second the motion.
Thank you. Mr. Vizo, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
President Mason.
Aye.
The motion passes.
I'll allow Commissioner Bierman to return. Moving on to commission announcements and updates. Commissioners, are there any announcements and updates? Okay, so I do have an announcement. This is President Mason. I want to commend Jennifer Mariquin for attending the South Los Angeles Alliance of Neighborhood Council meetings on June 25th and providing an update on the status of the local industry to that audience. She did a stellar job. I had nothing but positive feedback on your review, so thank you for stepping up and being a part of that space. And that is my only announcement. We are moving on to future agenda requests, if any. Okay, hearing none. Then we are moving on to the commission discussion of Council File 26-0124, which is a motion for the city to prepare an ordinance that establishes the requirement for Type 10 retail cannabis license applications to include letters of support from the corresponding neighborhood council, the relevant council office, LAPD, and a community-based organization that serves the community where the cannabis business would operate before license approval. Are there any updates on the progress of that?
Come again, ma'am?
Any updates on the progress of that council file?
Nothing official, but in our conversations with Council Office 6, they have expressed intent to schedule that motion upon returning from recess.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just looking up when the next commission meeting was, and it may be relevant to have a discussion prior to that.
Thank you. This is President Mason. Have the department submitted any recommendations about how those letters will be weighted?
All I know is that there are letters from various neighborhood councils in the current council file. At this point, I haven't received direction from the councilwoman or her staff on how the motion and or the letters will be treated, except for there is intent to move forward with scheduling that item when they return from recess.
Okay. All right, thank you.
This is Vice President Nash. Would it be appropriate for the department to put something on the record as to the department's position on the motion?
We will likely be asked, actually, in the motion itself, it does not ask for a report back from the department. It asks the city attorney to prepare and present an ordinance. However, in the past with this committee, the DCR has always been asked to go to attend and provide some sort of PowerPoint presentation and or answer some questions at the dais. And at that point, we will express our position. I do hope that the council member does ask for us to officially report back, because we do want to provide some insight into our thoughts about how that may or may not impact the community and current and future applicants.
This is Vice President Nash. Right now, we do not know when the motion will be heard. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And do we have any idea when it might be heard?
It may be heard as soon as they return from recess. So they come back in the beginning of August. It could be heard as early as, I think, that Tuesday, August 4th, but I'm not sure. But
When we do find out, would it be possible for the department to notify the commissioners that
Absolutely.
the motion is being heard?
absolutely. I mean, things are always changing unless it's set in stone and has been scheduled. I don't like to say this is happening at this date. So, absolutely 100%.
Thank you.
This is Commissioner McGovern. Continuing that, I think it maybe would be worthwhile for the commission to consider also providing some sort of correspondence that would be available on the council file. It could be, a simple letter just expressing our opinions about the proposed requirement.
This is President Mason. Excellent idea. I have no opposition to that. I do have some thoughts. I don't want to see the letters pitted against the ordinance, but I also see that could potentially happen. I have some concerns about what happens if, out of the group of four, if three say yes and one says no, which letter has the greater merit? So, I have some thoughts about a scoring rubric within that context, so that we can avoid the 3 out of 4 things that no one letter is more important than any other letter. So if a council member says no, that shouldn't cancel out the other 3 opinions.
As the
So
motion is
these are
written.
my thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, as the motion is written right now, there's a requirement for all 4 letters in order for operating permit.
Mhm.
There's no 1 out of 2 or 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 4.
No, but I get that. But what if, for instance, we've not seen LAPD say yes to a dispensary opening in their bureau? So if they say no, but the other 3 say yes, then what's the decision?
It's
Or
likely
if they say no and the council office says no, but the other 2 say yes. So there has to be a way to determine how that moves forward, given that we just don't know there could be a variety of responses. There may not be a consensus.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get consensus just in life.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's challenging and it's definitely concerning. As the motion is written right now, all four letters are necessary. All four of them are necessary to be for an applicant to be considered for an operating permit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It requires some nuancing, especially since Jennifer can testify that at the SLINK meeting there was a great deal of interest in increased neighborhood council participation and community feedback in the process, and um, some concern that right now the community's voice is heard but has no weight in the final decision making.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Bierman, you had any thoughts on this or?
This is Commissioner Bierman. I mean, the only thought is like, this is a motion for the city attorney to draft an ordinance, right? So I think to some degree the devil will be in the details, and well, we'll see like mechanically how it would change the letter of the ordinance, right?
Mhm. Thank you for your input, everyone. More robust of a discussion than I anticipated, but I like it. We are now moving on to item 4, which is a report from the executive director.
Thank you very much. I didn't announce myself last time, so my name is Michelle Garakian. I'm the Executive Director for the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Give me one moment while I adjust my microphone. I want to thank everybody who's in attendance today and thank those folks who are joining us online or via phone. I want to go ahead, IT team, can we move to the slide 7, please? That's the legislative update slide. I'd like to start with that. Thank you. I asked my staff to put together this slide to inform you guys of and the public of what is current legislative activity taking place locally. And it is in order of final to almost final to still pending to hasn't even made it through the legislative process. So I'm going to start with probably the most poignant here, which is Council File 26-0600-S20. That is a recent report, an ordinance that was adopted by the City Council. This was a joint report done by the GO Committee and the Budget and Finance Committee, essentially adopting our new fee structure. Those fees, unfortunately, will rise. That means that our upcoming renewal period will see new fees, not exponentially more, and certainly not as much as our fee study from last year, but regardless, I want to make sure that we are as transparent as possible with the folks that are in our permitting process and or our. The mayor signed the ordinance on July 13th and it was published today. The ordinance will become effective in mid-August. Another one that is going to be effective very soon is the good standing provision. So council approved a joint report from GO and from BNF, which recommended adopting ordinances to update the LAMC on good standing status, application refiling, cannabis business renewal timeframes. The mayor signed the ordinance. It will become in mid-August. And just a little background here on what good standing means, because this was introduced many, many months ago at this point. It will allow people to sign up for payment plans to be considered in good standing, gives individuals about to refile after they fail to renew, and removes the second late renewal period. The reason why I wanted to start with this slide is because my next slide is going to focus on the 26-27 renewal process, and this law, soon to be law, impacts that. It is really important for folks that are joining us here today and folks on the phone to understand that DCR has now eliminated the second late period. Got it. My apologies. The second one up on the screen is CF 25-0-S125, which is the Cannabis Business Tax Amnesty Program. So Council approved the Joint Go and BNF Committee report. The program waives interest and penalties, offering for up to 3 or 5 years for qualified cannabis businesses. The ordinance is expected to be signed by the mayor today. Once signed, the ordinance will also become effective in mid-August. DCR will be partnering with the Office of Finance on promoting this program and ensuring that every single one of our businesses who may be dealing with tax challenges hears about this program and hopefully registers. Another one is CF 26-0791. This is a motion that was introduced by the Councilwoman Padilla prior to recess. And the council approved this motion which would allow equity applicants with retail licenses to sell ownership interests to anyone. Right now, as the law stands, equity individual applicants can only sell to other verified equity individual applicants. So at this point, DCR is going to be working with the city attorney on a report reflecting this change that will go back to the council and committees for consideration, etc. That is not yet a law. I want to make that very clear. CF 24-1584, lounge and event licenses. DCR submitted draft proposed amendments and referred it to the government, and it was referred to the Government Operations Committee or GO Committee for scheduling. The motion concerns potential regulatory framework for the issuance of temporary cannabis event licenses and cannabis consumption lounge licenses. That motion has not been scheduled for committee yet. We are hoping that that motion will also be scheduled when the council returns from recess. And then we just talked a little bit about CF 26-0124, which is a motion which essentially would require all new cannabis retail businesses to get 4 letters of support from the neighborhood council, from the council, their council office, from LAPD, and a community benefit or community-based organization of their choosing in order to receive an operating permit from the department to operate. Again, as I mentioned, I imagine, and what I've been told is that this will likely be scheduled for committee after recess. So right now, that is the legislative update. I'm going to go to the previous slide as my next slide. So slide 6, please, team. All right. Thank you so much. Moving into 2027 renewals, this happens every year at the department. It happens every year at the same time. And what I think the DCR has done a better job of is making folks aware of what are the requirements necessary in order to go through the renewal process. Last year, we started communicating with folks in late January, early August. This year, we started communicating with folks in the beginning of June on what those requirements would be. Our renewal process, the 26-27 renewal process, will run from Tuesday, September 1st to Monday. By the end of the renewal period, either a person must retain an active California licensed engineer or architect listed DCA website and include their name or license, or provide your building permit application number from LADBS in the licensing 5 form. We are offering hardship exemptions this year. A licensee may claim a one-time hardship exemption in the licensing 4025 form. This hardship exemption will not extend or push back all other deadlines. Similar to last year, our equity individual applicants will get one renewal waiver in this renewal window. I want to make folks aware of 3 renewal webinars that are happening. One has already happened on July 8th. You can look back at that archive, hiring an architect. This is where our team talks about what this is like, what is the process. We also brought on a subject matter expertise to talk a little bit about what that licensed architect or engineer does for the building permit process. Our next one is on July 29th, and that will be about obtaining your public health permit. And then August 19th is going to focus on operating permit and LADBS. All of these are designed to mimic the milestones for all of our renewal processes through 2031. And so it's important to try and attend all of them so we understand the whole universe of what is going to be required by 2031 by the department. For resources, we developed an extremely comprehensive guide, and I want to thank Jennifer and her communications team, as well as other members of DCR who have contributed to this. It is a Road to Operating Permit and 2027 Renewal Requirement Guide. This is going to, it's extraordinarily detailed. It outlines everything that must be done, how to do it. Short of doing it for you, this is the cheat code. This is the cheat sheet. So please, folks, please find it on our website. It has been emailed to you probably, 15 times now. Please open it up and use it as your guidepost moving forward. And that is my current presentation. I welcome any questions.
This is Commissioner McGovern. I had a question about the motion regarding selling ownership interests for social equity
Certainly.
businesses. I'm just curious if you've heard any feedback from the social equity community about their thoughts on that.
Yeah, certainly. We've heard a lot of feedback. These conversations started probably in early 2024. And they were actually, in some cases, brought to us by equity applicants who were in dire straits, essentially telling us that they were unable to identify other equity applicants who were able to buy their business and maybe some of the debt that was associated with that business. At the time when we had those initial conversations, it was in terms of the equity community that we talk to, which is the equity advisory group that we assemble and that advises the department, it was split down the middle. There were folks that were very pro this idea, and there were folks that were very wildly against it. I would say moving into this time, I think the difference here is that a lot of the folks who came and spoke with us in favor of something like this have reached out to Councilwoman Imelda Padilla's office and expressed their concerns. And so she authored this motion in order to essentially ignite a discussion. So that is what we'll likely be doing when this motion is scheduled next after we come back with our report. I'm not going to say that it's everybody's in support or not at this point. I think the challenge facing our equity entrepreneurs, as well as most folks in this industry right now, it is very difficult. And what I have heard, and again, this is not support for or against the motion, is the difficulty in finding investors and folks that are willing to provide an exit for folks that want to move on to their next entrepreneurial activity.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is President Mason. Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, hearing none. Thank you so much, Ms. Barakian. I am going to reopen item
Oh,
3.
thank you very much. Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't realize that my time is done here.
yes, you're done.
Thank you very much, commissioners. I appreciate your service.
Thank you. I do want to reopen item 3, and I do want to request Council File 24-1584, which is the lounge and event motion that is not yet scheduled for committee as a standing agenda item on the commission, along with Council File 26-0124. This was something that was advocated for by a former commissioner, and I think we should keep track of its progress as it moves through council. And also, Council File 26-0791, which allows social equity owners to sell to anyone. Did anyone else have anything they wanted to add? Okay, hearing nothing, I am now reclosing agenda item number 3, and we'll be taking agenda item 8 out of order. Item 8 is DCR Core Record Number 101760. The applicant is Green Goddess Incorporated. The department's recommendation is to continue the matter to the commission meeting of September 3rd. May I have a motion, please?
This Vice President Nash, I move that we continue item number 8.
Thank you. This is President Mason. I'll second. Ms. Treviso, please call the roll.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
President Mason,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman,
Aye.
Commissioner McGovern.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, returning to the normal agenda order, we are at DCR, core record number 310089. The applicant is NoHo District 2 LLC to approve an annual license for storefront, retail, commercial cannabis activity located at 5041 North Lancashire Boulevard. Mr. Vizo, are there any neighborhood council or elected office representatives on this item?
No, we did not receive a speaker card.
Thank you so much. Then we will hear the department's presentation.
Afternoon, this is Corey Blake, Licensing Supervisor, and I will present item number 5 for the Department of Cannabis Regulation. DCR Core Record Number 310089 is associated with NoHo District 2 LLC. The applicant seeks an annual license for the Type 10 retail storefront commercial cannabis activity. This business is located at 5041 North Lancashire Boulevard in the North Hollywood Valley Village Community Plan area within Council District 2. The applicant has not been issued temporary approval by DCR, but has completed all requirements for the issuance of an annual license in accordance with LAMC Section 10406. The applicant does not currently possess a state license to conduct retail with on-site sales. This applicant is subject to requirements of LAMC Section 104.20 for the Social Equity Program, and DCR has determined that the applicant has met the minimum equity share requirements. On or about April 23rd, 2026, DCR provided notice of the community meeting and Cannabis Regulation Commission meeting by mail to the owners and occupants of all property within 700 feet of the property line of the business premises. Notice was provided in accordance with the municipal code. DCR held a virtual community meeting on May 19th, 2026, and accepted online written input through this date. During the meeting, members of the public were afforded 2 minutes each to speak about the application. DCR did not receive any oral or written testimony for this applicant. Based on the department's analysis, the proposed project is consistent with the criteria for a Class 1 and Class 32 categorical exemption pursuant to CEQA guidelines. Since the project meets all of the requirements and none of the applicable exceptions apply, it is appropriate to determine the project is categorically exempt. Therefore, DCR recommends the Commission adopt the recommendations included in the staff report and approve the issuance of this annual license. And that concludes the department's presentation for this item.
Thank you, Commissioners. Any questions for the department staff? Hearing none, we will move on to the applicant's presentation. I do not have a speaker card, so there is no applicant's presentation. We are moving on to commission deliberations, if any. Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion?
This is Vice President Nash regarding item number 5, DCR core record number 310089. I move that we adopt staff recommendations as stated in their staff report dated July 9, 2026.
This is Commissioner McGovern, second.
Thank you. Mr. Rizzo, please call the roll.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman.
Aye.
President Mason.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. This is President Mason. We are on to item number 6 on the agenda, DCR core record number 321022. The applicant is Mecca Hospitality Group, LLC, to approve an annual license for storefront retail commercial cannabis activity located at 6223 West Franklin Avenue. Mr. Rizzo, are there any neighborhood council or elected office representatives on this item?
No, we did not receive a speaker card.
Thank you. Then we will move on to the department's presentation.
Good afternoon. This is Corey Blake, Licensing Supervisor. I will present item number 6 for the Department of Cannabis Regulations. DCR core record number 321022 is associated with Mecca Hospitality Group, LLC. The applicant seeks an annual license for the Type 10 retail storefront commercial cannabis activity. The business is located at 6223 West Franklin Avenue in the Hollywood Community Plan area within Council District 4. The applicant had their original annual license application under DCR core record number 320022 approved by the Cannabis Regulation Commission in August 2025. The applicant now seeks the approval of the commission for a second time for an annual license under the modified DCR core record number of 321022 after completing modification for both a 100% ownership change and the business premises relocation from 6609 West Santa Monica Boulevard to the current address on Franklin Avenue. DCR has not issued temporary approval to this applicant, but the applicant has completed all requirements for the issuance of an annual license in accordance with LA 104.06. The applicant does not currently possess an active state license to conduct commercial cannabis retail activity with on-site sales. The applicant is subject to requirements of LAMC Section 104.20 for the Social Equity Program, and DCR has determined that the applicant has met the minimum equity share requirements. On or about June 5th, 2026, DCR provided notice of the community meeting and Cannabis Regulation Commission meeting by mail to the owners and occupants of all property within 700 feet of the property line of the business premises. Notice was provided in accordance with the municipal code. DCR had a virtual community meeting on June 30th, 2026 and accepted online written input through the state. During the meeting, members of the public were afforded 2 minutes each to speak about the application. DCR received zero oral testimony regarding this application and received 1 written testimony, which was against the application. The comment against the application was from a neighborhood resident who cited concerns about the suitability of the location due to its proximity to a nearby elementary school with children walking past the location every day. Based on the department's analysis, the proposed project is consistent with the criteria for Class 1 and Class 32 categorical exemption pursuant to CEQA guidelines. Since the project meets all the requirements and none of the applicable exceptions apply, it is appropriate to determine this project is categorically exempt. Therefore, DCR recommends the commission adopt the recommendations included in the staff report and approve the issuance of this annual license. And that concludes the department's presentation for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Blake. This is President Mason. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Blake?
This is Commissioner McGovern. I have a question. We received some emailed public comment to us from the Hollywood United Neighborhood Council, raising some concerns that some residents didn't receive a notice about the hearing And I'm just wondering if you can speak to the notice sent out to the residents within 700 feet.
Yeah, this is Senior Licensing Analyst Ryan Solis. We did see that, and we had been in contact with the neighborhood council as well. They've had kind of multiple rounds of questions, so we're working through that. Our initial review didn't show anything that was out of our ordinary noticing process, getting the addresses from the Bureau of Engineering and sending that along to GSD and their mail services with the USPS. But we're happy to look into things. I know they mentioned a specific block of addresses, and so we're kind of in the process of verifying that currently to see if addresses were notified.
Okay. Is this something that you notice if it's a difference between like the owners versus renters? Is there any detail that
Until we kind of look into it further, I can't say too much at this time to take a stance on that either way.
okay.
Thank you, commissioners. Any other questions for the department? Okay, hearing.
Uh,
Oh,
This is Vice President Nash. Are you saying that you've looked into it and you could not find any discrepancies in the mailing process? And on that basis, you are saying that everything was given proper notice? Everyone who's entitled to notice was given proper notice?
From what we reviewed so far, everything appears to be as it normally is. But like I said, if we get new information about specific block or whatever, we're always happy to look into it. So there was a specific block that was verified that we need to go through the process. There's not something that I can just look at. I have to work with these other agencies to figure out what may or may not have happened if there's a claim that a certain address did not receive notification.
Well, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm wondering if we should approve it if we don't have a level of confidence right now that everyone who was entitled to notice received notice.
Was that a question?
I'm wondering why we would go forward unless we have reasonable grounds to believe that proper notice was given. It's been alleged that it hasn't been given, and I'm not hearing from the department a solid yes, we can confirm that it has been given, and that's why I'm having some concerns about it.
It's understandable. We just need some additional time to look into it.
Okay.
Yeah, I do sort of echo your concerns, Vice President Nash, because it seems like it's the neighborhood council, and then they also mention another organization, the Argyle Civic Association, with concerns that they didn't receive it. So I'm not saying definitively we need to continue it, because it does seem like the department has done their first level of review and no discrepancies, but they are working with, two other city agencies, BOE and GSD, but it does raise a little bit of concern for me.
thank you, Commissioner Bierman. Any thoughts?
Nothing additional.
None. This is President Mason. I'm going to lean towards supporting my colleagues on this one, because I have heard from neighborhood councils a bit of inconsistency with notifications, and I think there may be some misunderstanding of neighborhood councils receiving notification as opposed to the community members who are within 700 feet distance of the proposed location. But would certainly feel more comfortable moving forward if we can confirm 100% that everyone who was supposed to receive notice did receive notice. Just to be sure we are procedurally consistent.
How much time would the department need? Would we, recommend if we were to continue it to one of the meetings in August or the second meeting in August? Or I just wanted to get an idea.
Because it's, we're not meeting at our typical first first week of July. I would think the first week of September would probably be the safest bet if we're going to continue.
Okay. I would then make a motion for item number 6, DCR core record number 321022, to be continued to the meeting of September 3rd, 2026.
As much as I would like to, Mrs. President Mason, allow that motion to go forward, we still have to hear from the
Oh,
applicant
sorry.
and then deliberate. So, any other questions for the department? Okay, then hearing none, we will now hear the applicant's presentation. I do have a speaker card from Arian Jafari.
Please state your name and you'll have 10 minutes to address the commission.
Arian Jafari. Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of Mecca Hospitality, seeking your approval for an annual license. This is our 5th time up here seeking approval. We've been approved for our other 4 locations and hoping we can move forward with this as well. All of our locations are social equity, and our social equity partner is an active operator in the business. In terms of operation, we'd like to consider ourselves as model operators. We've never received a violation, nor do we have any tax debt at any of our locations. In regards to this specific location, Hollywood, there have been multiple shops in the surrounding areas that have gone out of business, which has removed safe access for customers and patients. So we're excited to fill that void and get open as soon as possible. So one thing to add is in regards to the mailing, I was on that call for a few hours with the neighborhood council. There was a few items that I think there was just kind of misinformation that they weren't fully aware of kind of the process. So it was kind of just a softball. I know she obviously put in her email, but in regards to those other comments of things that were just maybe, like I said, were misinformed. And that was one of those things. So I wasn't sure if this is something that we'd have to wait another month and a half or longer just to kind of verify it. So I'd just like to kind of get more clarification on that, please.
This is President Mason. I hear you. And I'm just thinking we need to deliberate a little bit because I do have some ideas on that. And then you may hear your answer during the deliberations. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Should I just stick around or should I?
Sure. Was there anything else you
No,
wanted
that
to
was it.
confirm with?
Unless there's
Okay.
any questions for me, I'm open to answering
Okay.
anything.
Are there any questions? No questions from us.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Okay, we are on to deliberations. So this is President Mason, and I do have a thought. If we could first go back to the neighborhood council and attempt to tease out whether or not these residents who complained are within the 700-foot area. If they are not, then I would rather we don't have to go any further in the investigation because they've been ruled out as ineligible to receive the letter. And then we reschedule them for something in August rather than making them wait until September. However, if the residents are within the 700-foot area, then we need to confirm why they weren't noticed. How does that sound?
It sounds good. I think either way, if there was a situation where noticing need to happen, that requires a little bit of time based on the municipal code. So I don't know that something I don't foresee something in August outside if it does require like an additional action for us to take if there's some type of noticing that needs to happen. Certainly it gives us time to research, but there are timelines in the code where we have to provide ample amount of notice. It's 20 days in advance. And like I said, because we're already in the 3rd week of July here in the August 6th meeting, I think it's just a really tight window.
Well, no, I only said August 6th if you find out that everyone who was supposed to be noticed was appropriately noticed.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah. But if not, then of course it can't be August 6th. Okay.
This is Vice President Nash. I I feel more comfortable if we can get confirmation from the department that proper notice was given regardless of who's complaining about it. I think that's really the standard that we need to achieve.
Certainly, we can make sure that happens.
This is Commissioner Bierman. How many residents was it?
A specific number of residents was not provided. It was a block of addresses, I think, in an apartment complex. Did that answer the question, or was there?
Yeah, if we don't know, then like the exact number of residents who complained that they never got the notice.
I think it was the specifically like president of that association, the Argyle Association, that was reaching out to the neighborhood council president, who was relaying it along to us.
Got it. Okay.
And that block was within the 700. Oh, this is Commissioner McGovern. That block was within the 700-foot radius.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Okay. And they still have, and that, to your knowledge, that particular apartment complex did not receive notice.
That's what we're looking into to verify.
Okay. I think the President Mason, I think the applicant was raising his hand.
Okay. You may approach the podium. So I'm closing commission deliberations and reopening the applicant's presentation so that the applicant can respond to what he has heard.
Yeah, thank you. I totally respect the protocol, but the one thing with that particular, I think it's the Argyle Association, is they knew about the meeting that we had with the neighborhood council, but they weren't present. So if they knew about everything that was going on, how did they know about the posting that was on our door as well as the neighborhood council? So they did have notice, but they decided not to come forward with any of the, I guess, the meeting on the 30th or the meeting with the council itself. So in regards to them kind of stating, oh, we didn't have notice, they were given notice. So that's where I'm kind of a little bit confused.
Okay, I get that. And so the code requires that residents be noticed 30 days before that hearing takes place, not the associations. And there's nothing in the code that places the onus on an association to notify their members of a pending hearing. That's completely up to them. So the association is alleging on behalf of their membership that certain residents were omitted from notification.
But the HUNC, the Hollywood Neighborhood Council, they're mentioning that it's not a resident, it's an actual Argyle Association. Would that have any effect? Because it's actually it's not a resident, it's actually another association with it that's below the neighborhood council.
So it's my understanding that the association raised a concern on behalf of the residents to the neighborhood council. So they're just advocating on behalf of the residents.
Yeah, I understand that, but who they were advocating for, that particular one person, was another agency.
One more time.
Who they're advocating for that didn't get notice was another agency. It wasn't a specific homeowner resident. It was the Argyle Association. I think they're a trade group, so they weren't technically a resident.
What I'm looking at, it says residents.
Okay, specifically, she mentioned that too on the council, and I think that's what the email got forwarded to the DCR. But it was specific to, it was an Argyle trade group, which is another association within that Hollywood council. Because she was speaking on one specific resident who made a complaint, and that was a trade group.
This is President Mason, having not been present at that meeting and having a letter that says they're advocating on behalf of the residents. We have to go with what we have in writing.
Okay. All right.
No, it's sorry, it's not on your end.
Right.
It's on the city's end. So
I understand.
Sorry.
No problem. More time. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm closing the applicant's presentation and returning to commission deliberations.
I just I wanted to support your idea from earlier about trying to do this on the August 6th meeting if we can. Sorry, I forgot exactly how you said it, but am supportive of that idea.
This is President Mason. So I did propose 2 resolution tracks. One was to go back to the neighborhood council and confirm that the residents who were allegedly omitted from the mailing are indeed within the 700-foot area. If they are not, then I would like to see this rescheduled as expeditiously and soon as possible, which would be the August meeting. If they are, then if the investigation can't be completed, then we're in September.
This Commissioner Bierman, though, didn't we hear though that they are within the 700 feet?
I
If we
did.
know the block that allegedly didn't get the notice, it sounds like it is within 700 feet. So then the question is, what do we do next? And I just want to throw some support behind Vice President Nash's idea of confirming that on the city's end, everything went as intended, and as far as we know, everybody did get the notice. It seems like a somewhat objective way to try to ground this in truth.
Okay, I have a couple of questions. I hear you. Before we protract this application process. So what if they weren't notified? What's the remedy or what's the ramification?
Ryan Solis, we would need to, at that point, renotice and start the process over to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to provide their input for the application.
So that would protract the process by, as you said, until September.
September would be the soonest, yeah.
Okay. Understood. Thank you.
This is Vice President Nash. I just want to say I really think it's in everybody's interest, including the applicants, to make sure that we do this right the first time and that the applicant doesn't get further along and then have somebody come up and challenge the approval on the grounds that they didn't get notice. So I would wholeheartedly support doing it once and doing it right.
This is President Mason. I think we're done with deliberations. Is there a motion?
I want to clarify what date did we confirm is best? I mean, would it, not to continue it again, but would it make sense to put it on an August meeting date and then continue it again, or would we rather just put it on the September 3rd date?
If I can just chime in here for a second.
I don't know that before you go, this is President Mason, but do we want to have him come back? Let's see, a 6th and possibly 7th time.
No.
Yeah.
This is Michelle Garakian with the Department of Cannabis Regulation. Because we have, as Ryan said, we have to deal with other agencies here, specifically GSD. It's going to take a while to confer with them. So I don't see August 6th being a possibility, even in terms of just our research. This is the middle of the summer. A lot of people are on vacation, RDOs, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it is a safer bet to push it to the beginning of September so that we can get a definitive answer from the other agencies that we work with in distributing these notifications. And God forbid we notice some discrepancy and we need to renotice. We also have time. I don't want to waste the applicant's time. I don't want to waste your time. So I think September would probably be the wisest bet moving forward, if that's okay, ma'am.
This is President Mason. Are you certain that if there was a flaw, that restarting the process, it would be completed by the 3rd?
Can I chime in?
Yeah, please.
Because you
Sorry.
have to notice the community 30 days before, correct?
Yeah, Senior Licensing Analyst Ryan Solis. Yeah, it's 20-day notice before the community meeting. Is the exact amount of days. So if we continue to the 3rd, assuming we can complete this research to see what's going on. If we can complete that within the next week or two, we can ensure that they're noticed in time for September 3rd. I did want to make one other note, just for the record here. I know obviously applicants' time coming here and all of us taking time coming here, but oftentimes we're also concerned with making sure that folks can become operational right as soon as they can. This is a social equity record, and so if the desire is to get them up and operating as soon as possible, they are eligible for a state provisional license. So that's something that we can, and certainly I will be in touch with the applicant after the meeting to make sure they understand that. Again, do apologize that they may have to come back for another hearing here, but this should not stop the process from them becoming operational once they are ready to go.
This is President Mason. So since the issue is a departmental one and not necessarily one on the part of the applicant, shouldn't we just be able to waive them having to come back since they qualify on all the other points?
I didn't quite catch that or follow that. I'm sorry.
Okay, absent this issue, they would have been approved, correct?
Correct.
They meet all the requirements of 101, 104.06. So why would they need to come back? We can make this decision without his presence because it's not an issue involving the applicant, it's an issue involving the city, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's up to your discretion, right? If you want to
Okay.
hear from the applicant at a future meeting.
Okay. This is President Mason. To the applicant, you don't have to come to the next meeting unless you want to. Your presence isn't required. This isn't something that generated or initiated with you. It's something internal that we need to investigate. So clearly optional for you to be here at the next time, at the next scheduling of your license.
Hi, this is Deputy City Attorney Emily Wada. I just wanted to note for the record that the licensee, it's totally up to you whether you want to come, and there may not be additional issues that also arise between now and the next meeting as well. So whether you decide to come at the next meeting is
At your discretion.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is President Mason. Back to the motion.
This is Vice President
Okay,
Nash.
before you start, did that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
Did you want to make the motion?
sure. This is Commissioner McGovern for DCR core record number 321022. That's the right one, right? For the business located at 6223 West Franklin Avenue. I move that we continue this item to the meeting of September 3rd, 2026.
It's Commissioner Bierman, a second.
Thank you. Ms. Treviso, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman.
Aye.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
President Mason.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. We are on to item number 7, DCR core record number 312076. The applicant is 5707 Ventures LLC to approve an annual license for storefront retail commercial cannabis activity located at 2950 West Los Feliz Boulevard, Suite 100. Mr. Vizo, are there any neighborhood council or elected office representatives on this item?
No, we did not receive a speaker card.
Okay, thank you. Then we will move on to the department's presentation.
Afternoon, this is Corey Blake, Licensing Supervisor, and I will present item number 7 for the Department of Cannabis Regulation. DCR core record number 312076 is associated with 5707 Ventures LLC. The applicant seeks an annual license for the Type 10 retail storefront commercial cannabis activity. The business is located at 2950 West Los Feliz Boulevard, Suite 100, in the Northeast Los Angeles Community Plan area within Council District 13. This applicant had their original annual license application under DCR core record number 311076 approved by the Cannabis Regulation Commission in February 2025. The applicant now seeks the approval of an annual license application from the CRC for a second time under the DCR modified record number 312076 after completing modification for both a 100% ownership change and a business premises relocation from 2885 East Washington Boulevard to the current address on Los Feliz Boulevard. DCR has not issued temporary approval to this application, but the applicant has completed all requirements for the issuance of an annual license in accordance with LAMC Section 104.06. The applicant does not currently possess an active state license to conduct a commercial cannabis retail activity with on-site sales. The applicant is subject to the requirements of LAMC Section 104.20 for the Social Equity Program, and DCR has determined the applicant has met the minimum equity share requirements. On or about June 5th, 2026, DCR provided notice to the Community Meeting and Cannabis Regulation Commission by mail to the owners and occupants of all property within 700 feet of the property line of the business premises. Notice was provided in accordance with the municipal code. DCR held a virtual community meeting on June 30th, 2026, and accepted online written input through this date. During the meeting, members of the public were afforded 2 minutes each to speak about the application. DCR did not receive oral or written testimony for this applicant. Based on the department's analysis, the proposed project is consistent with the criteria for Class 1 and Class 32 categorical exemption pursuant to CEQA guidelines. Since the project meets all the requirements and none of the applicable exceptions apply, it is appropriate to determine this project is categorically exempt. Therefore, DCR recommends the Commission adopt the recommendations included in the staff report and approve the issuance of this annual license. That concludes the department's presentation for this item.
This is President Mason. Thank you, Mr. Blake. Commissioners, any questions for the department? Hearing none, we will move on to the applicant's presentation. I do have a speaker card. You may approach.
Please state your name, your relationship to the applicant, and you'll have 10 minutes to address the commission.
Hi, good afternoon, commissioners and the DCR. This is Lisa Seelan. I am the attorney for the applicant. It's been quite a while since I've been here, so it's good to see that you're all doing well and some new faces. So hello, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your summer. Anyways, I do represent this applicant. They actually have been in 3 different locations. The first 2 didn't work out very well. And the new applicant is in a location that actually was previously run by a different business that no longer is active with the DCR or the state. And the new applicant is very excited about being in the Los Feliz area and having a big parking lot. And the other 2 locations, I think, were in areas that were not as conducive for this type of business. And they're very excited to be part of the Los Feliz location and hoping that everybody approves this so they can move on and get their city and state license activated.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
Thank you.
This is President Mason. Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Seelan? Okay, hearing none. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
We will move on to deliberations, if any. That sounds a lot like no deliberations. So we are moving on to the motion.
This is Vice President Nash regarding item number 7, DCR core record number 312076 for the business located at 5707, at 2950 West Los Feliz Boulevard, Suite 100. I move that we adopt staff recommendations as stated in the staff report dated July 9, 2026.
It's Commissioner Bierman, I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Vizal. Please call the roll.
Vice President Nash,
Aye.
Commissioner Bierman,
Aye.
Commissioner McGovern,
Aye.
President Mason.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your summer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is now adjourned. The time is 3:13 p.m.
Please teach us.